they told me they didn't have any opening. The other option was to go into the Ministry of Sports and do what we call coaching education. Not really coaching education, but educating athletes about what it takes to get a scholarship and the kind of dedication that you need and so on. It was going quite well, and then they made a change in the Ministry of Sports, and therefore they asked me to be a coach. So I started coaching. I started coaching without any experience at all other than my own. What I used to do at college, what I used to do when I went back home as an athlete. I did the level 1 coaching course in 2003, and I passed. That's the IAF level 1 coaching course. I'm assuming that many of the people in track and field would know, would have done a level 1 coaching course. And that's all I had. I had the opportunity in 2008 to go to a coaching course in Germany. It was 6 months. At the time, I thought that was the most intense coaching course I've ever been on. 6 months, and I was actually an athlete again. I had to compete. I had to learn all the different events again, and I had to actually do the events. Shot put, the javelin, imagine me doing javelin. I was pretty good at the javelin when I was competing, but I was actually learning how to do all these events. I'm saying all this to say that when I came here to the ICECP course, I was like you, very wide-eyed, very anxious, anticipating, wanting to know what was next. So I came with an open mind. And it's funny because yesterday I was talking to someone, and the person says, the reason why I'm here really is to learn as much as possible towards my project. That is what I wanted from the program, to learn as much as possible towards my project. Because at the time, they were talking about this project that I have to do. And the good thing is that I had Peter Coffey, who was a former participant of the course. Therefore, we had spoken on several occasions. He had given me an idea as to what the program entails. But then, when I came, that's all I wanted to learn as much as possible towards my project. And at the time, I did not know how to go about doing the project. So anyway, we started listening to all of the lectures. And one of the very first, well, Dr. Robinson this morning gave me one of the lectures that we did. But we were doing things that we had done before. The Olympics, I think one is on there about Olympianism and Pedro de Coubertin and stuff like that. So we were doing those simple ones that we knew about before. But this afternoon, after I'm done, your first lecture is one of those that completely changed my mind about coaching. If you see what changing theory. But it's not so much that I knew about coaching a little bit, but I never went so much in depth because I was just doing enough so that the athletes compete well. Anyway, having listened to all of the lectures, and we had to do a presentation on our topic, and I kind of basically had the idea that I wanted to do planning and preparation for peak performance. The problem that we have in Antigua, let me go back a little, is that, like I said, you've heard me say I've been to the Olympic Games, I've won Pan Am medals, I've won at CAC, we have done well at the Carifta Games, but there is no structure at all in my country. No coaching structure. We just have a facility, well, a track I should say, because it's not really anything else. And not even a proper track, because it's just a surface that is causing our athletes a lot of problems. But one thing struck me is that in Antigua and Barbuda, when an athlete comes to the track, he or she is put into one program. Yes, we have different coaches with different beliefs, but all of them were coaching the athletes almost exactly. And I did not want that. I felt it was time that we have a different system in our country, so that when our athletes go to the track, they're not thrown to the world, so to speak. They're guided. They're taught the proper technique of doing drills. I'm sure basketball will have drills. Every sport have their drills. And I wanted to do that for our young athletes. So by the time they get to a certain level, they will be ready for competition. When I started my project, you will learn a little bit about your project in terms of SWOT analysis, and I'll give you another, when I get to the next presentation, I'll talk about SWOT analysis and so on, and then I think Dr. Robertson will give you further explanations of how to do SWOT analysis. Some of my expected outcomes that I expected from the project were to develop a student athlete. The reason why I'm saying that, athletes were coming to the track, they were training, coach would say warm up, they warm up. Coach would say 3 150s, they go run, they don't finish if they don't want to. No educating of the athletes. And therefore I wanted to change all of that in my project that I wanted to do. I wanted to increase parent support. Some parents never even saw their athletes run, or their child run. Never even saw their athletes run. Some of them, we have this big inter-school championship in Antigua, and that was the biggest thing in Antigua. But after inter-school, there was nothing. If there is a national championship, we have maybe 2 or 3 races, and that was our national championship. Maybe 100 meter, you find maybe 4 people in the race. At 200 meters, maybe, just about the same. We have boys and girls running together because we couldn't find enough people. And that was one of the reasons, really, I wanted to develop high school athletes. Because at inter-school time, we have facilities full with athletes. But after that, nothing. Because there was not a program geared towards holding them, educating them, and developing them in a systematic way. And the third one there is better organized event-specific training. You will learn about all these things from the program. Dr. Richard Wade is going to talk about long-term athletes development, and I got most of my ideas from him and from many of the other lecturers that I was hearing. This is what I used to develop my project. One of the first things I did when I was doing my project was to have a meeting with all of the parents. Because I wanted the parents to understand the reason why I was doing this project, and to get them on board with me while I was doing the project. And that's one of the very first things I did, was to have a meeting. They all got on board. I even told them that we were going to do this camp, this training camp, at Christmas. Let me tell you, if you're in the Caribbean at Christmas, everybody works. It means that therefore at Christmas time, all of the athletes, they don't train when the school closes until when the school reopens in January, because they're looking a little Christmas job to help support their family, maybe, you know. And therefore I was able to convince the parents that Christmas, I am doing 13 days. Those are the 13 days that they're out of school. I'm doing 13 days of this training camp. And I was able to convince them to allow the students not to work during Christmas. Okay. Dr. Robinson spoke about this morning about critical pathway. Before you leave Colorado, you will have to design something like this. All it means is that you're going to, on a monthly or weekly or daily basis, you will say exactly what you're going to do when you get home. Exactly. Now, this is exactly what I presented, But by the time I got to Lausanne, I was adding things that weren't on there. When I started my program, for example, if you notice there's nothing in there about, you see anything in there about sponsorship? No. I had absolutely no funding. I had written a letter to the NOC, no reply. So I started the program absolutely with no funding. But you know what I did? I didn't allow that to stop me. I got into my pocket and I said, I have this amount of money, and I bought some weightlifting equipment for the athletes. It cost me over 3,000 EC dollars, and those of you from the Caribbean would understand how much 3,000 EC dollars is worth. Understand? That's a lot of money. And I bought those. And I started the program. I was buying water for the athletes because some of them were coming directly from school, without lunch sometimes, without water, without proper gear. So I went and I bought water for the athletes. I bought Powerade. I was getting assistance from one other parent who, after I spoke to them, they were giving me, Nutrilite. Anybody hear about Nutrilite? I was getting those, and I was mixing those for the athletes. So as soon as they've done training, they have this Nutrilite replacement, because you will get that from one of the lectures you talk about regeneration. Right. You will get all of that. And right. So I did not allow anything at all to stand in my way of my project, because I wanted to do this project. I felt it was very important for my project. If you notice at the bottom, there's something there in yellow. Right? It says Planning for Success Seminar. I wrote, while I was in class one day, for some reason I just had this idea about planning for success. And in essence, that's what it is with your program. Whatever program you're going to do, you're going to be planning for success. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to let other coaches know how you go about setting a program so your students that you are working with will be successful. I chose 20 athletes from 12, well, we have 12 government secondary schools on the island, and I chose 6 schools to have this pilot project. The reason why I chose 6, some of the schools were not so much into track and field. They were more into football and cricket. And they only participated into school because they know it's one of the biggest things in Antigua, is this into school, and they take the cricketers, the footballers, and they come. So nobody really was very interested in athletics. But I chose schools from as near as maybe 200 meters walk from the track to as far as from 13 miles away from the track, because I wanted to get a diverse group working with. I didn't want people who were training for a long time, because sometimes they're the one that will do like this and then leave these ones behind. I wanted to bring everybody together. So I didn't choose people who were 16 and 17 or out of school. I chose people who were in school, from first form, and those of you who, I think you understand first form, meaning that the first year in high school. Right. I wanted to deal with only high school athletes. That's it, right? Anyway, pay attention to this, because you're going to have to do this when you get out to Colorado. Right? And if you're having problems, it's very simple. It's the same PowerPoint. Right? If you notice as well, like I was saying before, I didn't have anything on there at all about sponsorship. But I had to seek my own sponsorship. Like I said, I did my hand in my own pocket, I bought stuff. But I wrote a letter. One thing with this program I can say is that it teaches you to be self-sufficient. It teaches you, when you get to a hurdle, you either go over or go on. Don't turn back. And I wrote a letter to a gentleman they call Rob Barrett. He owns 3 hotels in Antigua. How do you know?
Plus a result from the Caribbean.
Exactly. So, as a matter of fact, I went to my association and they said to me, we can't help you financially, but if there are any assistance you need, and we will help you with that. But the president did not take that too kindly. As the president of the Athletic Association, he felt that this was a very important project, and he said to me, I am going to help you. And one Saturday morning, he called me and he says, let's go. Let's go where? He says, come with me. And he took me to meet Rob Barrett. We sat down and we explained the program to this gentleman. And he says, write me a letter. Why should I give you this money to this program? Write me this letter. I was like, oh my goodness. I need the money because I have 20 athletes I want to prepare for this project. They're from mostly poor families. Some of them can't even provide their own lunch. And I want to do exactly transportation. And I wrote the letter and sent it. And he wasn't in Antigua for a little while. He left Antigua and I did not hear from him. He told me to call and I called and I called and there's no response. My phone rang one afternoon. All this was going on while I was having a training camp. I think I did my training camp in December. While the training camp was going on, I was feeding the children their lunch from my pocket. Can you imagine me feeding 20 kids lunch, providing water, providing juice, providing Nutrilite, providing chocolate milk after training? Can you imagine that? I was doing all of that with the help of another coach who is now working with the group. I left him in charge of the group while I'm here. And we were doing that out of our pocket. My phone rang. Michael Samuel, yes. I have a check for you before we go back. When can I come and get it? You can come anytime. I'll leave it at the front desk. I'll leave it at the gate so that you, at the security at the gate, because his office is really far from the gate. Okay, I'll leave it at the gate. I was out of there. It so happened during that camp, my car had broken down. So I had no transportation. Right? So the other coach had to work, was working. He was a manager of a company. And you imagine every lunchtime, he went to pick up the lunch, he was bringing the water, he was bringing the fruits. Every 12 o'clock, and he stayed there with kids up to 2 o'clock. Can you imagine somebody doing that? Assisting you with this program because they felt how important this program was? I went, so I called him. Hey, they called me to collect this check. All right, let's go. So we left the children, we explained to them, listen, we're going to get this thing, we want you to be on your best behavior, because where they were staying was at what we call a national cricket stadium, ARG, famous for a man scoring over 400 runs in one test match. Right? So we left them there and we drove out there like mad people to collect this check. 10,000. So imagine my delight driving back to town. I couldn't sit still in the car. I was all excited that now my program, my project is going to get this big funding. So I continued with the program. Okay. While we're doing all this, some of the things that I did were, and some of these ideas also came from the tutors. The tutors were very, very helpful in determining the way for my project. I want to touch a little bit on the benchmark workouts. One of the lecturers had given me the idea of a benchmark workout. All it is, it's other than testing speed and strength at the beginning, we were doing this workout maybe every 3 weeks to determine how well the athletes were progressing. We did push-ups, as you can see here, we did endurance one, we did every month, right? But that benchmark workout was the tell-all, really, of how the athletes were doing. Let me backtrack a little bit. The weights in the weight room, when we went to Penn State, the good thing is that when we went to Penn State, we also came back here to Delaware to coach McFarland. And when we went there, when we were in Penn State, the coaches were doing the workouts, were writing up the workouts for the weight room for the athletes. Because they wanted themselves, the coaches, to be working with the athletes. But when we came to Delaware, they had trainers. And their trainers did, for example, exactly what I was talking about. When an athlete comes in, he or she is not going to be as strong as another. So they would design workouts to suit your level. For example, I ran for 4 years. Okay, I ran 3 years in high school. Now I'm in college. Obviously, maybe I didn't do any weight training. Maybe I did. So my level is different to a person who's here. So when I came into the weight room, I was not doing the same thing like this person up here. It started very basic. So I drew some of the examples of those workouts in the gym from Delaware, and I think you have a lecture as well from a person who showed us how to design strength training workouts. So I used basically two folds, the Delaware University ideas for developing young athletes. I think somebody also speaks about strength training for juvenile or youth in your handbook. You will get all these ideas from the lecture. Now, I went back home that day and went to the track, and I wanted to do hurdle walkovers. I did hurdle walkovers, right? When I was in college, I did hurdle walkovers. But when I went to Penn State, I had asked questions. Why were you doing this? How long do you do it? Do you do it every day because you want to strengthen this kind of muscle, and this is why you do this, and this is why you do it? So I went home with the idea, that's a good idea. And it also helps you to keep your posture. Track and field. Because sometimes you slouch, you want young athletes to be always tall while they compete. So I went home and I wanted to do this hurdle walkovers. I went to the track. And this is what I found. Excuse me. This is what I found. This one right here. The hurdles were all broken. We had to get strings and tie the strings. Tie two of the hurdles together so that we could do the hurdle walkovers that day. It so happened that very afternoon, one of the parents came to the track to collect his child, and I knew he was a carpenter. So I said, we're having this problem, we don't have any hurdles, and can you make me some? He says, okay, give me an example of how it looks, and I will get you some. Parents' involvement, parents' involvement, parents' involvement. I got parents to support. I got parents to send juice. I got parents to send fruit. I got parents to send cake because they saw the need. They saw how the children going home, how excited they were, what new things they were doing. And that is what I wanted to get really from the program, for these athletes to understand. Not just go to the track and run them. I wanted them to really understand what this was all about and the importance of it. So that's why. And the parents made me these. We were using them. If you notice, from the first time we did it, and they were laughing and giggling, improvement in the technique. Just from that. So I am very grateful to the parents. And even today, when I was leaving, they were so sorry I was leaving. I was telling them I'm leaving somebody capable there. And as a matter of fact, some of them say they're not sending their child, but it's somebody that really worked with me on this project, so he understands what the project was all about. So now, how did I evaluate the successes of the project? I used to get to the track, and I used to have to wait for the students to come. Today, I call practice for 4:30. If I drive in that gate at 4 o'clock, The students are there, sitting and waiting for me to come. Is that improvement? Because they were excited about this project. They were learning, and they wanted to compete and do better. So they were there. Increase in the incident of sport? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yes, it was. After the project, even before the project was even complete, well, it's not complete because I'm still continuing. Even before, okay, let's not go there yet, but I'll get there. Now, while I was having this camp, I used to bring in people to give motivational speeches. For example, the top picture there is a gentleman with, as a matter of fact, he's Vivian Richards' brother. He's the director of sports, for those of you who know cricket. And I spoke to him about the project. I told him what I was doing, and he agreed to come speak to these children. There were 20 of them, ranging from age 13 to 18 years old. I didn't take anybody out of high school. But the good thing is, it was just not 20 students that were showing up every day. It was more than 20. They were bringing their friends, teachers, principals. As a matter of fact, one boy has, both his parents are principals. Principals, those two schools were sending other athletes to join. So therefore, it was just not 20 athletes benefiting from the program. The bottom picture, a medical doctor, agreed, who also happens to be the president of the Athletic Association. He agreed to see each child in the program for free. Can you imagine a doctor saying he will see over 20 athletes for free? Does that happen? Doesn't happen. I was grateful because he saw the need, he saw the importance of the program, and he wanted to assist. Right now, as a matter of fact, the National Federation is looking. As a matter of fact, they want to buy the weights because the weight is really in the association building. They want to buy the weights so that all of the athletes training at the facility uses the weights. They're looking to buy more equipment for our athletes. We're very poor. We can't say like Saudi Arabia and some of those other countries that money is not a problem. It's a big problem for small developing countries. But because of one little program, things are changing. And that is the reason. That is one of the biggest things with doing this project, is the changes that you make on individual lives. The changes, people you affect or affect. And that is why your project, whatever it is, must influence, must impact, not just a few, but many. As a matter of fact, we have coaches now looking to develop similar programs for their clubs. It didn't just stop there. I became very innovative. After speaking to the other coach that is assisting me, we realized that we have to be innovative to keep these athletes. Very innovative. We didn't have any hurdles. We went out and we got the parents to support that. We're looking now to make some more with PVC pipe, you know, PVC pipe. We're going to make our own hurdles. We're not going to wait for somebody to come and buy hurdles. We don't wait for anything. We wanted sled, resistance sled for athletes. We went out. We got there was a school very close to the track who does the school does technical. It's a tech back school. They do all technical work. And we found somebody who did welding, and we gave them the design of the harness, and they made some harnesses for us. Right now, there are other coaches doing the same thing. Is that influencing other people? Yes. Yes, it is. And that's what this project is doing for my country at this moment, making coaches think about what they're doing. The fact that you can't take if somebody's on this level, and somebody's on this level, don't take this person and give them the same work or the same workload like this person. Be creative to get this person up to that level, be creative to get that person up. So that's what I was thinking. Okay. I know you want to ask the questions, but before I wrap up this part of it, I'm sure you're wondering how the athletes did. One athlete went, as a matter of fact, before I get to me, let me tell you about that. As you can see there, one athlete was third, he was third twice in El Salvador. Somebody's here from El Salvador? Right. He went to the CAC Junior Championships and he was third in the 100 meters and third in the 200 meters. That doesn't happen very often for Auntie. Let me go back again. Carifta Games. We have Jamaica, Trinidad, Barbados, Bahamas. Those are the biggest countries in the Caribbean in terms of track and field. We had 2 boys in the finals of the 100 meters on the 20. We had 2 boys in the 200 meters on the 20. Our relay team was 4th. That's big. That's big, and it's all because of this program. We took 7 athletes to the championship. We got 1 medal. We got 1 medal. But we don't always measure success by gold, silver, or bronze. We also measure by the improvement made by the athletes. We had boys in that 100 meters. That is significant. We were 5th and 6th. We had 2 boys in the finals. We had a young man. As a matter of fact, if somebody's online right now, if.org, we have this young man, 16 years old. He's ranked number 6, I think, in the world in the 100 meters on the 18 for the youth category. What's most significantly, he's ranked number 3 in the world in the 200. Number 3 in the world out of this program.
Most of all this from Antigua.
He's from Antigua and Barbuda, coached by me. You know what is significant? There are not a lot of women coaches in the world. As a matter of fact, I am the only female coach in Antigua and Barbuda right now. So let me tell you a little bit about what happened to me after this program and during this program. Starting from the inter-school championships, usually we have 3 age categories, on the 15, on the 17, and on the 20 categories. So that means there's 6 categories, 6 MVP trophies to be given out. Out of my program, I have 5. 5 of the athletes were MVPs. That's pretty good. Coached by a female. That is significant. That's humbling, really. Right? For the Carifta Games, we said, like I said, we said 7 athletes, all males. And guess who was the manager coach? Can you imagine a female traveling with all males as the only official? It doesn't happen very often. And I was the only official. I remember when I got there, I usually have a little registration process, and I got into the room, and the gentleman asked, "Where is the manager?" So I smiled. And I say, "That's me." And he was like, "Oh, okay, good." I got a lot of respect because I was the only official. The boys never misbehaved. They were told what time is bedtime, what time is, I don't want you outside at a certain time, no misbehaving, and the boys were just great. Now, I got back home, I did this big interview because they couldn't understand this team left Antigua. I was only one official. I was doing interviews on all the radio stations, all the TV stations. I even did an interview on Sportsmax, and if you're from the Caribbean, you would understand what Sportsmax is. Sportsmax is the Caribbean channel that features sports. I did an interview on that. I also had to explain about this course, so they know now about the ICEC course. Added to that, I don't like tooting my own horn, but I was told I have to say everything. Added to that, I was asked to be okay. During the Olympics, you know that NBC have these commentators and these people talking and so. I had to do that for our region in the Caribbean. Wow. Can you imagine when I got that call to ask if I was available? I almost said no, because my child's father, I have a little son, 7 years old, was asked to go as the coach for the Olympic team. And he says, if you are getting this opportunity, I will not go to the Olympics so I can be the one taking care of our son. That is big. that is absolutely awesome. I never expected him to say that. I would expect him to say, you know, I'm going to the Olympics. He didn't. He said, you go. And as a female, sometimes, you know, sometimes, for example, I'm sure you will think about your associations right now. Who is the leader of the association? Men. They're mostly men. And the women are usually. But he pushed me forward. He says, if you are successful, I will be successful as well. That is big.
You marry him when you get back?
We're not there yet. Right? But that is absolutely amazing that he did that for me. And I want to, he's not here, but I want to thank him for giving me the opportunity. When I decided as well to come here, he says, you go. If you are successful, I will be successful.
He's a great man.
He's very. But you know what? I did not take the information that I gathered from here and kept it for myself. I shared it with him. As a matter of fact, he's even now better than me in explaining some of these things. You understand? Because he was getting information from me, and he was doing research for himself, and he was explaining to the students things. And when he was explaining, I was like he was sitting right here in the class. And all of the ideas came from some part of the lectures that I got. And you know, sometimes, I know you're tired, you get tired, everybody gets tired. Our families miles away. You just let them know, I'm in class at this time, I'm out of class at this time, this is our talk time. And one thing I did, as well during class time, if I had an idea about my project, I was writing it down. So when I'm reviewing the notes for the night, I know, okay, yeah, this is a good idea for my project. And not everybody in the project will be successful. But if you can get one person from your project to move from one level to the next, that's amazing. That's magic. That's it. Thank you very much.